Hello and welcome to another update video about Solana. So Solana is still in a difficult environment. Yeah, it's currently hovering around the $15 mark. It has climbed since the last video, but basically we are only where we were like 10 days ago from the price. So yeah, it looks interesting as always, but bear in mind we are still below the 88.7% FIB level, which is at around $30. I would not underestimate this. Coins that are below this level, of course, they can move up and down. But they are sort of long-term at risk. We need to be aware of that, and I won't be bullish on any coin really that is below that level. Yes, there is always short-term upside potential, but it's just, you know, if it recovers, it will move out of it, of course. And the downside is naturally, with a coin that dropped like 95%, it is limited. But you need to understand that, you know, until Solana has reclaimed the 88.7% FIB level, this coin is at risk. It is what it is. We have a whole graveyard of crypto coins that dropped below that level and never recovered. There is a whole graveyard of thousands of coins that never recovered when they dropped below the 88.7% FIB level. That, of course, doesn't mean that every coin that drops below that level will die. But it is fact that if a coin drops below that level, it's not good. And coins that do that have a higher risk of dying. So simply as that, as simple as that. My view is that Solana will recover, but we know that altcoins are risky, especially in a bear market like this one. Altcoins are risky. So anybody who wants to buy Solana is, of course, entirely up to you. The only two things or strategies that I would personally use to buy Solana is either for a short-term swing trade, or, but again, even there, I think there are better charts out there, or just long-term, high speculation, very low exposure, but basically you could put a little in there and you might get a lot out of it, okay? Because the target to the upside in a third wave, we talked about that before, we talked about roughly the $450 mark, right? For a target in a third wave, and that would be quite nice from especially looking at where we are now. But that, of course, requires that Solana will recover. Okay, so let's take a look at this very short term. We obviously dropped significantly recently due to the FTX issue, you could argue, and we came down, and again, Solana is also here in a situation where every low could be the last one, but it simply hasn't done enough to convince me. And especially because we are still below that 88.7% FIB level, we just need to be extremely careful here. We need to be extremely careful. And it's an interesting chart at the moment because we are moving up quite strongly. But the next retracement will be the interesting one. Yeah, the next retracement will be really, really crucial. So I'm going to talk to you about why as well. I mean, ideally, we came down here. Yeah, when we broke out of this sort of triangle to the downside, that was anticipated. We talked about that. I gave a downside target. For me, the general target of the pattern, yeah, that is still lower, and we could still go to that level, absolutely. The general target of this triangle is lower. That is based on that is sitting between 640 and 760. But short-term target here in these first 5 waves, that was reached. I gave you 2 targets. The first one was reached at 1092. I think that was the first target. That was based on the length of the first wave here. Yeah, now just need to think, how did we... No, we added it to the high of the 4th wave. Yeah, exactly. We added it to the high of the 4th wave, and then we got to around, for the first target, around $10.90. I think I haven't done it super accurately now, but it was around $10.90. And the second target would have been around $10. That's the 1.618 extension, but we never got there. But we reached the first target, and that is already good. And whenever that's done, and then we broke out of the channel to the upside, then you need to be ready for potential upside if such a trend breaks. Such a trend break signal is a break of a trend line, very simply, which we did. And since then, we have moved up in 5 waves. So that's generally you could say, bullish signal, even though I'm very careful with saying that, as long as we are below the 88.7% FIB level. But yeah, you know, this could be a wave 1. It could be a wave 1, and we could now come down in a wave 2. And therefore, I'm saying this retracement is now going to be very important, because as long as we're holding measured from the current high, if we hold the 1180 level, which is the 78.6% FIB level, then we could move up in a third wave. So in any retracement, we need to hold that level, and this is the area of the highest likelihood that we should see. If we have the high already reached here, at the moment there is no sign that it has topped, so it could very well still go higher as long as we are above this ascending trend line, right? But this is the area here between between 1295 and 1180. Ideally for a wave 2, and then we could move up. So this is an idea how it could unfold here. When do you know that the wave 2 starts? Well, you never know really, but it is an indication for that, or confirmation would be if we break below this ascending trend line. We're nearly there, to be honest. Looks like we're about to break it, but again, as long as it's holding, it's holding. But when it's breaking, then this could be a signal that we are indeed coming down. We already made here, could argue a double top, yeah, a slightly lower high, and this could already come down in A, B, and now the wave C down. Okay. So this will be the interesting retracement, because if the 1180 level breaks, then we're going to very quickly do a new low, I believe. Okay. And target for the third wave, I can give you that as well. That's a bit of an estimate at the moment, as we don't really know how low the wave 2 really goes. We talk about roughly $18 here, $18 to $20 for the third wave. Now, this could just be a corrective wave as well. That's what we don't know, and therefore it is so important now to just simply watch it. This is not necessarily something I see with a high probability, what we currently have sketched out here, but it's something to watch, because it could also just be from the low here, yeah, that this was not a triangle, it was something different, maybe a diagonal pattern. Yeah, we can talk about that as well. And that we're simply, so basically, that we're simply just putting here a corrective move up in place. So basically an A, B, C, yeah. And therefore it's so important to watch this, observe this, because if you see that we put that leg in place, yeah, this high, then we come down, but we hold a wave 4 support, push higher once more, then we can for the first time really talk about that a low was in, because until then it can just be an ABC. And the wave A can have 5 waves as well, so it could be very much mixed up with a wave 1. The wave B will look like a wave 2, and the wave 3 will look like a wave C. But this is then where they separate. In the next retracement, the wave 4 should be a shallow retracement if it's a wave 4, yeah, and then the wave 5 up. And if we get those 5 waves, then we can for the first time really talk about, was a low for Solana maybe in. Yeah, and that's my update about Solana. So hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.